Hi everyone, it's Crazy Winter Moon. I just want to first say I'm sorry. I've had like a 2 weeks of like silence. I haven't done anything, no videos, no nothing. Though not many people watch anyway, but I just want to say I'm sorry for those who were watching. I got depressed. Sorry. I haven't felt like doing anything, but this was a small change of pace, and I felt like doing it. So I'm gonna play this. I've played this is the Steam version of 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. I've played this game like a billion times on the DS. And I've just beat it not long ago on the Steam version. So yes, I'm kind of cheating. I know what all the puzzles are and so on and so forth, but I'm gonna do it properly. Properly. You got me. Good. So I hope you all enjoy. Um, you might not like it, but I always do Japanese voice acting if I can. Uh, I've got everything pretty much turned down to the minimum because everything is super loud on its own. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start this. We're gonna start it up, and hopefully it's gonna be good. Yay! So I'm playing on my keyboard and with my mouse and stuff. So yeah, that might be it's a thing, but yeah. This game is fiction. All names, characters, and incidents portrayed in this production are fictitious. There are two modes of play, novel and adventure. You can switch in and out of each interchangeably. Too fast. I can't read that fast. I suck. I'm sorry. 9, 8, 7. 6, 5, 4. 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh. 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 A loud noise startled Junpei awake. His eyes snapped open. I'm not gonna read the Japanese voice acting. I will like kind of slow down so that anyone who does want to read it can read it. If I miss any dialogue, you'll probably end up seeing me scroll up through the backlogs a little bit because I will miss dialogue because I suck again. So yeah. As they adjusted to the light, he realized that he didn't recognize his surroundings. I didn't skip that. It did it on its own. With a crack, Junpei's head connected with something metal. He rolled over and threw his hand to steady himself, but he found himself groping at empty air. His balance lost, and his still fuzzy mind struggling to understand what was going on, Junpei tumbled down to the cold, gray floor. No. 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 I like to play on novel simply because it gives me more dialogue. And since it is voice acting in this now, there's not as much to read, I guess, but there's still a lot to read. Yeah. Junpei glared around the room, still trying to determine where he'd woken up. The fall had shaken the last cobwebs of sleep from his mind, and finally he understood where he'd fallen from. A 3-level bunk bed, in fact. Junpei had fallen apparently from the topmost bunk. You're fine. You're fine. I'll bet. His shoulder hurt, his knee hurt, his hip hurt, his entire body hurt. He could feel a bump forming on his forehead where he'd slammed it against the low ceiling. That's gotta suck, man. Oh, I remember when I had a bunk bed and I sat up one day and I just smacked my head on the ceiling. Oh.
くっそ、目の前がグラグラする。いや、
Ah, crap.
違うな。そうじゃない。
At first, he thought the tremor that ran through his legs was just another effect of his rude awakening, but as he looked around, he realized it was real. The whole room was shaking.
地震にしては、やけに小刻みな揺れ方だよな。
Then again, Junpei had no idea what it was, if not an earthquake.
そんなことより。
Junpei rubbed the growing bump on his head and gingerly he climbed to his feet. His balance regained, he finally took his first good look around the room. And muttered to himself,
ここは一体どこなんだ?
Who the fuck knows? His pain momentarily forgotten in the face of confusion of his circumstances, Junpei looked around the room once again. Minutes passed while Junpei struggled to get his bearings. Then, as suddenly as they had begun, the tremor ceased.
止まったのか?
A cold silence fell over the room. From somewhere far away, Junpei could hear the sound of metal squeaking.
なんだこの音。気味悪い。
In an attempt to distract himself, Junpei looked around the room once more. There was a stove that looked more antique than functional. The three-level bunk bed had mattresses that were so thin that they were little more than blankets. On the other side of the room was an identical bed, and set in the wall between the beds was a slightly dirty iron door. There we go.
俺は
The first thing Junpei noticed about the door was the number roughly emblazoned upon it. On the surface of the door in red paint, someone had written 5.
5?
Goal. Yeah.
5ってなんだよ。
I don't know what the fuck it means. I mean, I do, but I'm trying not to say. For purposes. Suspicious and still utterly confused, Junpei approached the door slowly. Standing at last in front of the door, Junpei grabbed hold of the L-shaped handle. A push yielded no movement, and a pull with the same result.
開かないか。
It didn't matter how much he pushed and shoved, the handle wouldn't budge. Next to the door was an odd-looking device that reminded Junpei of a card reader.
なんだこれ。この装置が扉のロックを制御してるってことか。
Junpei knocked hard on the door.
おい！誰かいないのか？開けてくれ！
You know who he sounds like? If anyone watching this has played Corpse Party, he sounds like a little bit, not entirely, because I know it's probably not the same person, but he sounded a little bit like Satoshi. There was no response. Junpei threw his left fist into the door and stopped.
なんだよこれ。
He wasn't really sure what else to say. On his left wrist was a bracelet of a sort he'd never seen before. In the center was a large LCD display.
腕時計じゃないよな。5。同じだ。
Ow.
扉の数字と。
Just cracked my neck. It hurts. True, the numbers were the same, but he had no idea what that might mean. All he knew was that it was strange and new, and he wanted it off. Jinpei? Good job. Jinpei flipped his hand over as if to remove the watch, but
これどうやって外すんだ？
there was a lot of choking sounds. The other side of the bracelet was solid. No buckle, no clasp, nothing. He sighed and flipped the thing back over. There were a number of rivets around the rim of the face. Perhaps
この横に出っ張ってんの。こいつを押せばいいのか？
he pushed them, but nothing happened. On a watch, they might be dials for adjusting date or time, but on this bracelet, they did nothing.
くそ、反応がない。腕から無理やり引っこ抜くしかないか。
Growing more desperate, he began to tug at it. However,
くそ、ダメだ、全然抜けない。
a steel ring ran from the face around Junpei's wrist and back into the face. He wouldn't be pulling the bracelet off any time in the near future.
たく、なんなんだよこの腕は。
Frustration and desperation were beginning to mix in the reality of the situation as the reality of the situation began to dawn fully on Junpei. So much was happening, and none of it made sense. Junpei felt as though he were about to explode.
ここは一体どこなんだ？なんで俺はこんなところにいる？なぜだ？なぜ？一体何があったって言うんだ？
Oh. Pain bloomed, and he did his best to shake it off. He raised his head. It was at that moment that he noticed the window.
この窓。
The window was round, rimmed with riveted brass like a window from the early 20th century ship.
これって、まさか、ここ？
Ah, crap, I skipped it again. I'm sorry, I suck at this. Junpei walked slowly toward the window. He could see nothing beyond it but thick, impenetrable darkness.
暗くて何も見えねえな。せめて、外の様子がわかればいいんだが。
Stop that. Junpei squinted, trying to see something, anything. It was at that moment.
おい、マジかよ。なんなんだよこれは。
Ah! A crack split the glass of the window, and for a moment Junpei stared at it. Then the window burst, and water began to pour into the room. Junpei yelled and spun around. His feet slipped on the water already coming through the window. He ran for the door. Dude, we already tried this. No one's out there. There was no reply. As Junpei screamed and pounded on the door, the water began to rise. It was now ankle deep on the floor, and rising quickly toward his knees. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Junpei ran a hand across his forehead, brushing the sweat out of his eyes, and looked around the room. Seek a way out. Alright, let's do this shit. Operations during an escape. During an escape, you are restricted to an area. Your goal, search around to uncover how to unlock the door. There are items and hints in the room that will help you. Something. Click on a location, you find suspicious, search the room. Use Q and E to move around the room. Oh, like that? Is this how I do it? Okay. About items. Once you've obtained an item, you'll be able to go to the item screen. Clicking item on the top left will take you to the item screen. Yes, thank you. Investigating an item. The item visible in the lower left is the item currently in hand. When you close the item screen, the last selected item will be in hand. If you hold an item while investigating the room, you may trigger a reaction. Try switching out items in hand and search different places. Click the item icon or press V to quickly change between items. Ah, no. An old picture frame. There's a picture of a ship in it. There's screws keeping the back on. Yay! The note got blah blah in red and blah blah in blue. Lovely. A bulletin board. There's nothing on it. Lovely. There's nothing on top of the shelf. Doesn't seem like there's anything hidden in the sink, though this is the only drain in this room. Water just keeps pouring through the window. It's like a waterfall. I don't think shoving something into the window is going to stop the water. In other words, if I don't want to die, I need to find a way out of this room. I have to figure this out. I can't bring myself to call this a bed. It feels like a board with a sheet on it. It's pretty flat. There's an arrow that goes all the way across the paper. It's red under the red symbols and blue under the blue ones. Oh no, there we go. Alright. You're fine. Alright, well, let's see if there's anything in here. Huh, looks like there is. A key? Yeah, there's a little blue key in the bottom of this pot. Odd. This key's pretty small. Definitely not for a door. What's it for, then? This key's blue. Is it supposed to open something else blue? That's some kindergartner logic right there. Never mind. This is... Okay. This is the door to the stove. Well, it opens easily enough. Sure wish the door to get out of here was as easy to open. Give me that. I got a screwdriver. A normal screwdriver. Doesn't seem to be anything special about it. Well, how about I do that, and combine it? Well, the screwdriver got the screws off pretty easily enough, and here's the picture. Yeah. So, someone wrote a bunch of numbers and symbols on the back of the picture, huh? Yeah, they did. Combining items. I just did that. Why? Select combine on the item screen to combine two items. If the two items can be combined, you will receive a new item. If they cannot, then nothing will happen. Try out different combinations of items you find in your search. Ah, fuck. Alright. Ah. A small red key. And that's it? Okay. Can I... Yeah. Junpei grabbed the key and shoved it into his pocket. He intended to leave immediately, but something stopped him. His reflection stared back at him from the mirror, but he had scarcely recognized himself. His confusion was well justified.
まるで死人じゃないか。
His face was drawn and pale, and the dark circles under his eyes made him look as though he was nearly dead.
本当に一体何があったって言うんだ。どうして俺はこんなところに。確かバイト上がって部屋に帰って、それから。
Even as he said it, something in his mind opened and a memory bobbed to the surface. It was the last thing Junpei remembered before waking up in the strange room. It was past midnight when he came home. Junpei shuffled up the stairs and opened the door to apartment 201. Inside was his apartment. A small one-bedroom affair that ran him about $630 a month. That's a lot of money. He moved into it when he entered college, and so far he'd been there for 3 years and 7 months.
ただいまって返事はなくてもついちゃうんだな。
That's because you got no one. You need a cat, man. You need a cat. He stepped inside and turned on the lights. The fluorescent lights on the ceiling blinked and flickered slowly to life, as if waking from a deep slumber.
今日もよく働いたぜと。
Sounds like me every day I come home. Their cold light illuminated this landscape he'd come home to so many times before. Everything was as he'd left it. The magazines piled up in the corner, the textbooks collecting dust, the CD cases covering the floor, the jeans and t-shirt he'd worn the day before, then tossed onto the floor. There was one thing that didn't belong, however.
Huh? 風?
The white curtain framing his window swayed gently in the cold wind.
変だな。窓なんて開けたっけ?
Junpei walked toward the window, trying to remember if he'd closed it or not before he left. One of the panes was hanging open. He stuck his head out and looked around.
別におかしなとこはないよな。やっぱりただの閉め忘れか。
He closed the window. Then it happened.
No.
Okay. Junpei turned and found himself face to mask with a man dressed all in black. The man wore a deep hood and a bulky gas mask. His face was entirely hidden. Suddenly he couldn't finish. Junpei tried to yell, but all he could manage was a strangled croak. Junpei collapsed to the floor, a crumpled heap of limbs, like a discarded puppet. Too late, he noticed the white smoke that was quickly filling his apartment. A small object, shaped distressingly like a grenade, sat on the floor in front of his face, hissing. The white smoke poured out of it at an incredible rate. The smoke had grown so thick that the details of Junpei's apartment began to fade into the white haze. He could feel his mind begin to fade as well, the white haze that was not the smoke creeping into the edges of his vision. I think I said vision instead of vision. I forgot you have a really creepy voice. A rasping voice wormed its way out of the gas mask. It was cold and harsh, and distorted in some way Junpei couldn't put his finger on. Those words haunt my dreams. ゲームの時間だ. That was the last thing Junpei remembered. The white smoke overpowered him. The masked man faded from his vision, and he felt his consciousness fall away into the white mist.
そうだよ、あのガスマスクをかぶった男、あいつが俺をこんなところに閉じ込めやがったんだ、あの野郎。
He ground his teeth in frustration and strained to remember anything about his attacker's figure.
まあ、あれじゃ男かどうかもわからなかったけど。
Fail. The voice had been cold and mechanical, likely passed through a voice changer, and the body had been covered in a thick cloak.
あいつは一体。お前は選ばれたのだとか奴は言ってたが。
What it might mean, that was beyond him.
わけがわかんねえよ。目的も何も。
There was only one thing from his memory that seemed important.
これからお前にはゲームをしてもらう。ノラリーゲーム。生死をかけた運命のゲームだ。
ノナリーゲーム。ノナリーゲームって何なんだよ、クソ
！With a yell, Junpei drove his fist into the mirror. Don't break the mirror. That's 7 years of bad luck, Junpei. Bad. Okay, hang on. Okay, 0, 2, 6, 3. Yeah. No. No dice, it's locked tight. Let's see if there's anything in the keyhole. Sorry. I'm used to skipping all this text. Alright, let's see what happens if I put this blue key in the keyhole. And nothing. I guess I'm gonna need some sort of code for the dial. Minigames! During an escape, your investigation may trigger one of the several minigames. Fantastic. All operations for the minigames are done by clicking the screen. Some minigames will require you to manipulate something, while others will only require you to apply the right object or click the right thing. Operation instructions. Clicking the dial will cause it to move to the next number. Enter 4 numbers this way and then click the key. If the numbers are correct, it will unlock. 0, 2, 6, 3. Click. Alright, let's see if these numbers work. A turn of the key and, hey, looks like it worked. Yes! Alright, let's open it up. Yes! It opens! Looks like there's something in here. What is this? A file? File screen. If you find any documents or notes during an escape, the information contained in them will be available on the file screen. Press right to open the file screen. Alright, let's see what's in this file. Digital root. Let's see here. Compute a digital root with the following steps. First, add all the numbers in question to one another. If you end up with something greater than a single-digit number, add the digits to one another. For instance, if you have a double-digit number, add the number in the tens place to the number in the ones place. Keep adding digits in this manner until you have a single-digit answer. That final single-digit is your digital root. Example, the digital root of 678 would be 6 plus 7 plus 8 equals 21. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Therefore, the digital root of 678 is 3. Example, the digital root of 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. Therefore, the digital root of 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1. I see. So I just keep adding numbers until I get a single-digit number. Oh, looks like there's something in the back of this thing. A notebook, a pen, a calculator, and a stack of key cards. Huh. Yay! Stack of blue key cards. Looks like some key cards. There's a number written on each card, 678, with a digital root of 3? Was that what it said? I kind of wasn't paying attention. Does this mean something? Ah, new material has been added to the file screen. Well, calculator, yeah. Press left to open the calculator screen. The calculator can also calculate a digital root, which will be important to the progression of the story. Ah, well, fudge biscuits. Doesn't look like there's anything else in the briefcase. Yes, thank you, I know. Oh, do I really have to read all this? It was 3. Okay, now. And that's controls. Oh, fast forward is hold space. Duh. Skip is control. Story mode is V. Oh, that's how I switch the story mode in this one. Okay. Okay. That was lovely. Now. This is just like the blue briefcase. There we go. Yep, there's a lock on this one too, and it's not opening. Alright, let's stick that red key in there. It's not opening. In fact, it's not doing anything at all. Well, alright, I take that back. I guess I can move the dial now. So it looks like I'm gonna have to put in the right numbers, and then turn the key. I do that, this thing should pop right open. Let's give it a shot. 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 5. Yeah, my memory is a bitch. Sometimes. Yes! I unlocked it! It's opening! Oh! Oh. Well, that was anticlimactic. A stack of red key cards. These look like key cards. There's a number on each of them. On each one. 1, 2, 3. Lovely. Lovely. Okay. Where is my door? Over here. These cards with numbers on them. I'm pretty sure this is where I'm supposed to use them. Alright, let's slide these cards and see if they work. And... Huh? It's not working? Why? Damn it! No, that's right. I still have cards I haven't used. Ah, fudge biscuits. There we go. Damn it! Not again! There aren't any more cards in here. I've only got one other hint. Of course! The files, you dipshits! That file said something about a digital root. A digital root. The digital root, huh? What am I supposed to do with... There's a 5 on that door. Do I have to get a digital root of 5? I'm not really sure about this. Whatever. It's worth a shot. Let's see if this works. I'll just slide the cards that give me the digital root of 5 through the card reader. I'm pretty sure it just said reader, but whatever. Operating instructions. Click 3 cards to select them. The digital root of selected cards will be displayed. Clicking reset will deselect all currently selected cards. After you've selected 3 cards, click on the device. Yeah. Alright. I think this is gonna work. Here we go. That's a new noise. Huh. Did it just unlock? Well, that light was red, and now it's blue. No doubt about it. There is nothing keeping me in here now. Time to go. You found it!